Something I've noticed recently is that Minecraft's horror space is absolutely massive. There are hundreds, no thousands, no hundreds, probably just hundreds, I didn't count, I don't know, of horror mods out there for Minecraft, several with millions or even tens of millions of downloads. It's huge. And it makes you think, why are there hardly any horror mods in Terraria? So today, naturally, I scoured Steam for every single Terraria horror mod I could find and installed them all at once to find out if Terraria horror mods are scary or even any good at all. To make sure I ran into as many spooky things as possible, I gave myself the challenge of beating the Eye of Cthulhu. Now, let's get our creep on. I don't know what that means. We're here. We are here. Now, I have not, like, checked any of these mods beforehand. I have zero idea what any of these mods, and I'm dead. I'm already dead. Okay. Cool. Okay, so that was quick. We're immediately met by this little fella, SCP-173, also known as the Sculpture, added by the Terraria SCP mod. I assume that guy just kind of follows me, which I don't appreciate. Now, I want to give this mod the benefit of the doubt. It's possible it wasn't even trying to be scary. I added this mod because it's based on a horror concept, the SCP Foundation, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was aiming for horror. As you'll see, it completely misses that mark. Yeah, so it seems I might have to remove that one. That's really annoying. So this is SCP-173. I'm familiar with this guy. I guess this guy just follows me and kills me every now and then, right? Is that... Yeah, okay, and the guide's dead. He killed the guide. He killed the guide. Okay, well, that guy's gonna be following me, which is cool. So I'm going to go into a cave. I got research. What is this? I don't know what that is. I'm getting a bunch of research, and my neck snapped again. Okay, cool. SCP-173 is a pretty iconic horror creature, but if you're unfamiliar, the way it works is it can't move while you're looking at it, but the second you look away, it rushes towards you and snaps your neck. Minecraft's new creaking mob is something that plays with this idea decently well. This Terraria version, however, is lacking almost as much in the horror department as I am in the hung department, if you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to analyze this mod too deeply because, like I said, I'm fairly certain horror wasn't even the goal, and there are more scary and spooky mods to get to. And I want to quickly preface everything I say in this video by making it clear, no hate to any of these mods. I find all of them a lot of fun in their own ways. I'm purely analyzing the horror aspects of them. I am absolutely swagged out with my cactus strip. I'm assuming most of the scary stuff happens underground, so I'm probably gonna quit bumbling around and just go underground and see what happens. Like now even. I was planning on going back to spawn so that I could go underground. Yeah, this goes pretty deep. More research. Get destroyed. Oh! Okay, that's actually pretty... that's like... Okay, I'll say... Oh! And I'm dead. Okay. Nice. What was that? That was the pressure mod, and we got a little introduction to it here. Now, credit where credit's due. Although I was playing up my frightenedness? Is that a word? Who cares? Although I was playing that up a little bit, the initial change of the lights flickering did get me pretty good at the start. There's something cool about that sudden change of lighting that works as a mini jump scare, especially in Terraria when everything's usually so bright and cartoony. However, all this mod does, as far as the entities go, is flicker the lights a bit, then send a giant PNG flying across your screen that you can't do anything against. Although it builds up a little bit of tension with the lights, sending the PNG across a screen that immediately just kills you is kinda lame. But more on that and this mod later, because I'm worried that your little TikTok brains can't handle, you know, 5 minutes of me talking without Subway Surfers, so I'm gonna go back to the gameplay for a little bit. I'm dead. Whoa. Was that a life crystal in there? Almost missed that. Yeah, like I said, I have zero idea what any of these... Not again! Oh my god. I can't see. Oh. Okay. That's like not funny. I don't like that joke. Well, I got a bunch of research from that guy. I continue looking for loot when I run into this mushroom biome, where a lot happens at once. Seen some life crystals, some potential loot in this direction. Or here, got some life crystals, more batteries. What? What is that? I must investigate. Squiddles. Well, of course I'm gonna try to eat it, but if that's not... Please stop talking to me. I don't talk to strangers. Sebastian Solis. I am a little on edge, I'll be honest. There's this mysterious little guy over here. Yeah, okay, see ya. Do I... Is he friendly? Oh! Not friendly, not friendly! What's that noise? Are you hearing that? Oh my god. Please, I'm not touching my keyboard. I'm not touching my keyboard. Leave me alone. Leave me alone, perchance? Leave me alone, maybe? Maybe leave me alone. Oh! Okay, now, again, that's just rude. That's just rude. That was cool, I'll admit it. Now, I don't think the pressure mod intended for these two events to coincide, but something about getting the jump scare from Squiddles and then having the heartbeat immediately after that and my character moving on its own before sending in the guy, that worked. It ended up building up a lot more tension than it typically would. Now, although, like I said, I think it was coincidental that those two things happened at the same time, I really liked it, and it actually kind of spooked me in the moment. And of course, Sebastian whispering in my ear right before it happened only added to that experience, so make that 3 events accidentally coinciding. Now, Sebastian, as we'll find out later, is actually a friendly guy that uses the research you get as currency to buy some useful items. Hello! Welcome, welcome, don't be afraid, I'm not gonna hurt you. My name is Sebastian, your only friend. Yeah, that's pretty real, actually. If you don't ask questions, I won't either. Nice. Greatly increases players' memory state. Ooh, hand-cranked flashlight. I think I want a hand-cranked flashlight, because that seems pretty rad. I'll buy one of these, why not? Whoa! That's sick. But unfortunately, besides those 3 entities, I don't run into anything else from this mod. And it gets incredibly annoying very quickly, and I spend most of the time in this playthrough complaining about how often I'm dying, which is really sad because I think this mod has a lot of potential to be very fun. I just got back here. Chat. Leave me. Whoa, my god! This. Okay, I'll say, okay? Maybe I'm being harsh. But I don't like that that mod is just killing me every. It's not even. It's not even. After like the 3rd time, it's not scary anymore. If I die before I even get to do anything, then I won't see any of the stuff from the mod. And this happened again and again and again. Way too often. Now, each of these big monsters that come and kill you, there's 5 of them by my count, and they're each slightly different, but basically they just come and kill you. Now, I didn't realize it at first, but there actually is a way to avoid them. When they spawn in, they draw a little arrow path as to where they're going, and if you just get far away enough from them, they won't kill you. So that does make it a little better that you can just avoid them by running, but that's still not fun, and it's still not scary. It's just annoying. And like I said, it happens way too often. And so I went on through my playthrough getting very annoyed by that and waiting for something scary to happen. Oh my god! I was literally, as that happened, I was thinking about that mod. I was like, I wonder when that's gonna go off. That's so funny. This is the 1 in 10,000 chance for a withered foxy jump scare every second. mod. And it does exactly what the title says. Every second, there's a 1 in 10,000 chance for a withered foxy jump scare. That's it. It's so dumb, and I love it. While I did add this mod mostly as a joke, it does actually get something right that some of these other mods struggle with: the scarcity. Because it almost never happens, you start to kind of forget it's there, and that creates a little sense of paranoia in your mind when you're mining or building or whatever, and this little seed pops up like, oh yeah, withered foxy could come and jump scare me at any moment. And as you can see, that's exactly what happened with me. That little bit of paranoia had popped in my head right before the jump scare happened, which is what made it work so well when it did. That delay, the uncertainty, that does create a little tension, because oftentimes in horror, what isn't there is a lot scarier than what is. That being said, this is just a silly meme mod, not exactly peak horror, but it does manage to stumble onto something that the pressure mod, for example, didn't, as does this final mod. Oh my god. Dad? The hell was that? Someone's watching me in these here caves. Okay, I see that. That's pretty spooky. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Someone's being a bit maleficent, if you ask me. A tea's got what I want. Oh my, it's back. There's something watching me. It's back. Oh my god, you're so handsome. Oh my god. He's stuck down there. It's me. Why are you doing this? Oh, he's gone. That was the Echoes of the Cavern mod, which I think might be my favorite of all of them. What I think this does much better than all the other mods is the tension building aspect. Every time it spawns in, you can hear it breathing a bit before it despawns, which is pretty cool and is decently effective at building up that tension. Now imagine you're in the caves after having that paranoia build up in the back of your mind, and in a dark corner, you can just barely make out another player. This is a single player world, you think. How's that possible? And the fear rises. Then, as you place a torch and get a bit closer, you realize it's you. And then, you know, you go up to it and it releases all that tension with a big jump scare. Pretty rad. I like that this entity isn't all-powerful and doesn't just automatically kill you. You can counter it, which I think is nice and makes it a lot less annoying, but unfortunately, this mod is really small and this encounter is all it does. So after the first time of running into it, you'll know what to expect and that horror will be very quickly depleted. Also, after I turned off the pressure mod to get this footage, the entity spawned in 3 times in a very short period of time, so I can see that getting frustrating pretty fast. But for the interaction I had with this mod, it was a lot of fun and a great little experience. So as I finish up this challenge by taking out the Eye of Cthulhu, it's time for the conclusions. Are Terraria horror mods scary? Well, no. But I don't necessarily think that's entirely the mod creator's fault. As I said earlier, all these mods are incredibly fun and well made. They're just not very scary, and I think a big reason for that is the medium they're working in. Terraria is 2D, and 2D horror is very difficult. Some games do 2D horror effectively, like Limbo or Darkwood, or at least so I hear. I haven't actually played them personally. But ultimately, 2D horror falling short is expected for several reasons. One of the most prevalent ones for me is the fact that nothing is really hidden. In Terraria, everything's on screen at once, and there's no limited perspective. There's no dark corner to turn or fear of something hiding in the dark. And And like I said earlier, what often makes horror scary is the fear of who or what could be lurking in the dark, the space in between the scares. But in 2D, it's nearly impossible to create the same kind of intense immersion that you can in 3D, and that atmosphere and immersion is incredibly important. But in a game like Terraria, with its flat, bright, and colorful visual language, that becomes much harder. I just spent a long time yapping, and I'm not entirely sure if my thoughts were comprehensible in the slightest, but I hope you get where I'm coming from.